I work a job where I spend a lot of time watching TV, and therefore, I see a lot of commercials. Some of the commercials that always catch my eye are pizza commercials. And it's kind of crazy how many of those are Domino's. Like, I'd say probably 80%. And it feels like they're taunting me because Domino's pan pizza is one of my favorite chain pizzas. Every time I see one of these commercials, I crave pizza. But I don't want to spend the $15 or whatever it is every time I want some. So, how can I make some pizza cheap and quickly? Obviously, frozen pizza is an option, but even the cheapest ones have gotten relatively expensive. I wanted to explore the semi-homemade options to see how to make the best pizza for only a few bucks. So I went to the store and I got a bunch of ingredients. I picked up tortillas, bagels, and mini bagels, French bread, naan bread, and a roll of dough for a little experiment. I also got 3 different sauces at various prices, and some cheese and pepperoni as the toppings. Every pizza I make, I'll be measuring out and calculating the exact cost, along with how many calories they come out to. I also took note of the cook time, and I'll be testing the different sauces to see if spending more money on sauce is worth it. To start off, I made what I thought would be the cheapest and quickest pizza, a tortilla pizza made with the Meyer brand sauce. The tortilla was 20 cents because it was just a single tortilla out of the pack of 10. I measured out a 1/4 cup of sauce, which was 24 cents. I weighed out 2 servings of cheese, which was 40 cents, and half a serving of pepperoni, which was 24 cents. The pizza as a whole came out to only $1.08. For $1.08, you're also getting 405 calories, which I feel like is pretty good. And between preparing and baking the pizza, it only took 11 minutes to make, so I think it's a good option for a quick snack. I cooked every pizza in my toaster oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly on the bake setting, but sometimes I would flip it over to broil to crisp up the top. Now that I've made this first pizza, let's see what I thought. All right, we've got here the tortilla pizza with the cheap sauce. So this is probably about the cheapest pizza you can make. Let's go ahead and try it out. In the toaster oven, it came out pretty nice and crispy. Only 5 minutes of cooking, so nice and quick snack to make here. That is pretty damn good. It's still very hot because I just pulled this out like a few minutes ago. But like, man, I think this would be like a good replacement for like, instead of buying Tostitos pizza, like the square pizzas, just buy the ingredients for this. It's a little more upfront, but you get a lot more long term. And like, if you're a fan of thin crust, this is like a really nice, really thin crust. Overall, pretty good. I'm happy with this. And it was such a quick and easy cook. I will definitely be making this more. Oh, you got little cat feet. I was impressed, but it still is the most basic it can be. I'd say it's a middle of the road C tier. Quick, cheap, tastes good, but I'm personally just not a big fan of thin crust. I decided I wanted to work my way up the scale of cost with each pizza. So, for my next one, I swapped out the tortilla with a bagel. Everybody knows and raves over pizza rolls, but if I was having a bunch of friends over, my preference would be bagel bites. But this bagel is not bite-sized. And as a matter of fact, the mini bagels are more expensive. Although I will be making homemade bagel bites later. As for this one, besides swapping out the base with bagel, I also used only 1 serving of cheese, down from 2. These changes bring the total cost up to $1.22, up 14 cents from before. The calories also went up to 445, and the whole cooking process took me 12.5 minutes. Every metric has gone up, but let's see what I thought about it. Here with the pizza bagels, ready to dig into these. Now I did notice when I was watching these cook is that the bottom got a lot more toasty than the top did cooked. So maybe I could have stacked these up a shelf higher in the toaster oven, but you know, I know for next time now. let's go ahead and take a bite. I don't anticipate this tasting very different from the tortilla because the only thing different is the bagel. But I do think I like this better because I'm not as big of a fan of thin crust. I think this is gonna be more pizza style, more of a pizza style that I enjoy. Yeah, I really like that. It kind of feels more like a pan pizza or like a Detroit style. I really like kind of the thickness that comes with a bagel. So really like these. So taste-wise, pretty much unchanged, but closer to my preference in style. I'll put this in B. For my next one, I went a little more traditional and made a French bread pizza. I took the loaf out and sliced it in half, and then sliced those halves in half. I then sliced the half of the half in half, but the other way. Are you following? With the jump up to French bread, I felt like this was an appropriate time to up the quality of sauce and try out the Raoul sauce. I continued with a serving of cheese, and lastly, the pepperoni. All of this came out to $1.86, and a total calorie count of 455. It also took 14 minutes to make because I had to slice the bread first. Let's see how it turned out. Okay, here we are with the French bread pizza. This is kind of like the middle of the road pizza, the middle in terms of cost with like the sauce and the bread. So let's see how this goes. I have let this cool down a little bit, unlike the last few times. French bread pizza can get like real crunchy, and so it can be like hard to bite into and it can really burn your mouth. First thing I noticed was I turned it from bake to broil after about 3 minutes and let it cook for another 5 or so minutes. It cooked for 8 minutes total. And I think doing that made it so that the toast or the bread didn't get too crunchy and hard on the bottom, and the top got nice and cooked. So it's got a lot of crunch to it, but the inside is actually pretty soft. So it avoided that like real crunchy, hard to bite through, kind of tear up the top of your mouth feeling that I would usually get when eating French bread pizza. The sauce, that's the second thing I noticed. The sauce tastes less like sweet and artificial, which makes sense. It's, you know, not the cheapest shit that you can buy. So it's pretty good. It kind of tastes more like spaghetti sauce than it does pizza sauce. I don't really know what the difference is, maybe some of the seasonings that's in it. So pretty good. With that, I'll put it in A tier. The sauce was better. I wish it didn't have that spaghetti flavor to it. And also the rest of the loaf started to mold before I could get back to it and make more. So if you make these, you have to keep that in mind. The next pizza is what I consider to be like the top tier of cheap homemade pizza. I started off with naan as the base. And if I could go back in time, I would have gotten the garlic naan instead of plain. For sauce, I also upgraded to the carbonate sauce, which was the most expensive option at my store. I topped it off with 2 servings of cheese and some pepperoni. This was my first time making pizza on naan bread, so I actually didn't know what to expect. So let's see what I thought. Here we are, naan pizza. Ooh. I will say, this looks the most like a pizza. Like, I'm really excited to dig into this, and it was so easy too. I'm also curious about the sauce. This is the most expensive sauce, although I don't think I'm gonna have a great comparison point since it's been so long since having the other sauces. I figured I wouldn't cut this because it's already such a nice little size. Man, this is naan pizza. This might be like the move for like a little at-home pizza meal. That is a winner. That is very good. That is really, really good. And for how easy that is to make, and I haven't calculated the price yet, but I can only assume it's gonna be relatively cheap too. Like that, if you're craving pizza, instead of going to the store and buying like a frozen pizza, I 100% think you should buy a pack of naan, get a nice pizza sauce, and just get some cheese, and like you are gonna have good pizzas for a couple days. Between the naan being the most expensive crust and the sauce being the most expensive option, this pizza came out to $2.75, which I think is a pretty good deal for how good that was. The calories are also a lot better than a frozen pizza, coming out to 665. Compared to even the cheapest frozen pizza, that's about 1/3 to 1/2 of the cost and calories while taking the same time to make at 13 minutes. Naan pizza is going up there in S tier. And next time I'm at the store, you know I'll be getting some garlic naan, and I expect it to be just as good, if not better. Now that I've run the gambit through all the crust options, I wanted to test all the sauces back to back, and I figured, what better way to do that than making homemade bagel bites? I decided to go with 3 bagels, so 6 bites, and I would do 2 bagels of each sauce. I still wanted to properly measure everything out, but thankfully each sauce had the same serving size of a 1/4 cup. To do this, I used teaspoons. 48 teaspoons equals 1 cup, and so 1/4 of that is 12. So I used 4 teaspoons per sauce, since there are 3 sauces. I topped them off with a 1.5 serving of cheese, and I dropped a single pepperoni on each one. I also used the pepperoni to distinguish between the sauces. The whole pepperoni in the center is the expensive sauce. The half pepperonis faced away from each other are the Rouse sauce, and the half pepperonis faced towards each other is the Meyer sauce. To make these 6 bagel bites came out to a total of $2.08. The calories were 578. These also took the longest time to make, taking over 17 minutes. Mainly because of the prep. Let's see how they came out and what I noticed about each of the sauces. Okay, I'm here now with my homemade mini bagel bites, and I'm gonna try each of them out back to back to see as best as I can what the difference is between them. So I'm going to go ahead and start off here with the cheap Meyer brand one. Okay, and then we got the middle of the road, and then the expensive. Okay, so the cheap sauce, it definitely tastes the cheapest. It tastes the most fake, tastes the most like it just came out of a tube or like a bag. The flavor isn't like awful, but when you have it back to back with the other ones, you can tell that it's like, it doesn't really taste like a tomato pizza sauce. The middle of the road, the Rouse, this tastes more, like the flavor on this is more bold, more intense, more noticeable, but I think that lends to it tasting more like a spaghetti or pasta sauce, even though it is specifically a pizza sauce jar. And then for this expensive sauce, this is like the most smooth of them. Doesn't have as intense of a flavor, but it tastes the most like a pizza sauce. I think I like this one the most, I guess, unsurprisingly. As far as like the pizza bagels, pretty good. It took a lot of time to prepare because you have to do all of the pain of like doing a bagel pizza where you have to like avoid the hole in the center and you have to spread the sauce around the outside and split it open. You have to do that 3 times. But you know, if you want to have little bites, like if you want to make a bunch of these, I think making a bunch of these for like a party could be really fun. Or if you want to take 6 or 8 of these to work as like a snack or as your lunch, then I think it's a good option. The prep of the bagel bites is tedious, but the snackability of them is nice. I think I'll drop these in the bottom of B tier. So there you have it. That's all of them. Except it's not. You may remember I got that roll of croissant dough. Well, I wanted to try and make an at-home Hot Pocket. In my classic fashion of not really looking up how to do anything, I jumped right into it. I popped open the can and made the judgment call to use half the sheet. I put the Rouse sauce down first and then topped it with some cheese. I finished it off with pepperoni, just like I did every other pizza. And then I folded over the rest of the dough and tried to seal up the edges by rolling them up. The cost of this came out to $3.03, and the calories were 565. And this might be the first thing that isn't worth making on your own, because Hot Pockets are already less than $2 and take a lot less work to make. But let's see how it turned out. I'm here with my homemade Hot Pocket. Honestly, it looks like it turned out more like a calzone. First thing that I noticed is the bottom is very soft. I think putting the sauce down first was probably a mistake. I think the best thing to do would probably be a layer of pepperoni, and then a layer of cheese, and then sauce on top. But anyways, let's go ahead and try it out. Oh, it is just breaking open now. So, it's just really soft. I don't know if this dough is the best dough for it, or maybe it just needs to be cooked at a better temperature that allows for it to get nice and crispy before it like burns. But it's all just kind of folding over on itself. I mean, it tastes good. The dough is like, honestly, it's pretty yummy. It's just kind of hard to like eat and hold. And it's also, I think, the most expensive by far. I don't know, I haven't calculated the time or cost yet, but I think it is both the most expensive and the most time consuming to make it. So, while it did taste good, I'd say it wasn't a great experience and I won't be making this again. I think I'll put it down in D tier. I think with a better dough option, it's possible, but if your focus is on cost, then it's cheaper to just buy a Hot Pocket. And now we're done. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any cheap homemade pizzas that you like to make, let me know about them down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.